What is up, guys? Eric here with Team Eccentric, and I'm bringing you guys my updated Invoked Blue Eyes White Dragon deck profile. This deck seen a lot of alteration, quite a few changes, and to be honest with you, I really do enjoy them. I think it makes the deck a little bit more explosive. It makes the deck a little bit more consistent as well, for the most part. Even though Blue Eyes is affectionately known as Brick Eyes, because you constantly draw the Blue Eyes White Dragons and then they break your hand. The deck isn't bad. I think the deck can definitely still hold its own. I think that this version, honestly, is a little bit more fun to play than the Primite version. So yeah, we'll just get right into the profile and I'll show you guys what I'm playing. So to start it off, we obviously have the two OG starter deck Kaiba Blue Eyes White Dragons. The best artwork, there's no debate. If you think otherwise, you're wrong. We have Triple Sage, obviously, this is the main starter. If it's normal, if it's normal summoned, you can search for a level 1 Light Tuner. Also, if you control a monster, you can discard this from your hand, target that monster, send it to the graveyard, and then summon a Blue Eyes monster from your deck. So that gets you... There's multiple ways to get into your Blue Eyes White Dragons, right? Then we have Triple Maiden. So Maiden is by far and away the best support card that this deck ever got. Because it allows you to get to the True Light. You don't even need to have it in your hand, although that's obviously probably the best way to use it. It can be on your field, it can be in your hand, and you send it to the graveyard, you get True Light from your deck, hand to grave, and immediately start popping off. Pretty nuts. Also, if it's targeted for by any card effect, you can target one level 1 Light Tuner or one Blue Eyes White Dragon in your grave and revive it. So that kind of like gives you access to a lot of your extra deck plays. excuse me. So then we play one Neo Kaiser Seahorse. This is just an extra suboptimal starter. Because again, the deck can be bricky, I think you have to kind of maximize on the amount of starters you can play. And this card does get you into a pretty good combo with itself and one other discard. So it's like a 1.5 card combo, and I'll do that combo, in another video, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. This card does get you to quite a bit all on its own. So that's it for the monsters in the Blue Eyes engine. And then for the spells and traps, we play Triple Wishes with Eyes of Blue, obviously. This is by far and away the best spell card the deck has ever seen. You activate it, discard 1 card for cost, and then you get to search one level 1 Light Tuner and 1 spell or trap that mentions Blue Eyes, so it gets you to pretty much everything in your engine. Also, it has an engrave effect where you can banish it if you control Blue Eyes White Dragon. Target that Blue Eyes White Dragon and then equip 1 Blue Eyes monster from your extra deck to it. So namely, it'll be the new Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. It'll give it an extra 400 attack points, but the real reason is because when you synchro that Blue Eyes White Dragon off with whatever level 1 Light Tuner, that Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon engrave gives you target protection from things like Impermanence, Chalice, etc., etc. It just gives you target protection. Then we have one Roar of the Blue Eyed Dragons. So Roar of the Blue Eyed Dragons just allows you to get to Blue Eyes White Dragon very easily. If you don't control Blue Eyes White Dragon, then you can activate this and special summon Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck or graveyard in defense position. But or banishment as well. But it also has a grave effect where you can banish it and then fusion summon into a monster that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon. So that's pretty crazy in my opinion as well. Then we have the Mausoleum of White, which gives you an additional normal summon of a level 1 Light Tuner. Also, you can target one monster you control, namely, you will target your Maiden, and you will send one normal monster from your deck to the graveyard, and then increase the targeted monster's attack by the sent monster's level times 100. This just allows you to extend, because you target the Maiden, send the Blue Eyes, and then the Maiden will revive either a Blue Eyes that's already in grave or a level 1 Light Tuner, which allows you to kind of plan your plays out and build a pretty excessive board. And then for the traps, we play one Majesty of the White Dragon. This is a non-target destruction for every Blue Eyes you have in your hand, field, or grave. So it's definitely, I think, necessary. You need some spot removal in the deck. Then we have True Light. So True Light is obviously the trap, the kind of the linchpin of the entire strategy for the most part. You get this on your board, and you're already cooking. Obviously, it allows you to set from your deck 1 spell or trap card that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon, or you can special summon 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand or graveyard. Also, while this card is on the field, your opponent cannot target Blue Eyes White Dragon with any card effects. So it's pretty nuts. Then for this supporting engine, we play 3 Alistair the Invoker. 3 Magical Meltdown, and 1 Invocation. So I feel like these cards really don't need an introduction, especially if you watched my channel back in like 2019, 2020. I played Invoked Mech Knight. So basically, Alistair on its own in 1 normal summon becomes a Mechaba, an Invoked Mechaba, which is a negate, and you also get the resource that you need in order to negate a monster effect. So by summon 3 or 4, if you open this engine, you should be able to stop Nibiru. This will normal summon itself, search for this. This is the fusion spell that shuffles itself back and then adds Alistair from banishment back to your hand. And then Magical Meltdown searches for this and also prevents your opponent from responding to your fusion summons. Very solid engine. And also, because Alistair is a level 4 spellcaster, it allows you to slot very perfectly into this deck, because Spirit with Eyes of Blue, the Link monster, all it takes is a level 4 or lower dragon or spellcaster. So then for the last 2 supporting cards in the actual engine, we play 1 Fallen of Albaz. So this will be apparent as to why I play this later on. But we do play the 1 Fallen of Albaz, and then we also play 1 Synchro Rumble, because we are playing the Crimson Dragon, and obviously the Crimson Dragon allows you to tag into stuff and do things. And this card, even though this card can kind of be a soft brick, does allow you to get back your Maiden or whatever light tuner or whatever like level 1 tuner you want. So it allows you to extend even further. Then for the non-engine in the main, we play Triple Fua, Triple Ash Blossom. This might be a little weird because a lot of people play, if not 1 of this, they play 2 of it, but I play 3 Veiler because I think it is another like suboptimal starter, because it's a level 1 light tuner. So like you can extend with it, you can start with it, or you can just use it as the hand trap depending upon whatever suits your needs at the moment. And we play Double Droll and Lockbird. It's another level 4 lower spellcaster, so that's actually quite useful. Then we play 1 Call by the Grave, and then again, considering that I play the 3 Veilers, this might also still be a little bit contentious, but triple Infinite Impermanence. I think I think having a bunch of effect negation is like the best thing you can do with this deck. So yeah. And then for the extra deck, we play 2 Spirit with Eyes of Blue. This gets you to your field spell, Mausoleum of White, which gives you the additional normal summon of a level 1 light tuner. Also, if you have Blue Eyes White Dragon in your hand or grave, you can tag this out and then summon that Blue Eyes White Dragon, and then it gets you plays that way. The only downside is that if this is on your field, you're locked into summoning dragons until it leaves your field, but that's actually an upside for us, and you'll see why. Which, if you see the Fallen of Albaz, you'll know why. But that's why playing this, I think, at 2 is actually relevant, because you can do a combo where you lock your opponent into dragons by summoning this to their field with Albion the Sanctifier Dragon, which is why Albaz is in here. Then we play the 1 Heretic Seals, which ties into the Albaz combo. So that's it for the links. For synchros, 2 Blue Eye Spirit Dragon. This is the best extra deck monster in the entire deck by far. It gets you to pretty much everything that you need in order to make the boards. 1 Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon. Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon being the Omni Negate. It's just such a solid card. And then when it's destroyed, it also revives a light dragon in your grave, so you can revive Blue Eyes White Dragon to extend further. You can revive the the regular Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon to negate a grave effect. It's just really good. Then we play 1 Crimson Dragon. So the Crimson Dragon is in here because you tag the Crimson Dragon out when you have the Ultimate Dragon on board into your Divine Cipher Dragon, and then that's pretty much the main goal of the end board, is to get to these 2 cards. And that sets you up for a lot of negation. And then we have 1 Ancient Fairy Life Dragon. So this is just for OTKs. In a scenario where you do almost lethal with, like, say you have a Spirit Dragon and Blue Eyes and then another Blue Eyes, but your opponent has a monster, and you kill the monster with the Spirit Dragon, and then the 2 Blue Eyes attack for 3,000. That leaves your opponent at 2,000 generally, right? Well, then you tag the Spirit Dragon into Ancient Fairy Life Dragon, and even though Ancient Fairy Life Dragon comes out in defense position because of Spirit Dragon, Ancient Fairy Life Dragon can attack while in defense position at 3,300. So it just applies more damage to your opponent's life points and can do fatal. Then last but not least, for the synchros, we play 1 Ancient Fairy Dragon. So the Ancient Fairy Dragon is in here because it allows you to tag from one engine into the other using the field spells. So like if you want to get to your Invoked package, and you only got to the Blue Eyes package, you can pop the Mausoleum, add the Magical Meltdown, and then get to Invoked. Or if you want to get to some semblance of the Blue Eyes package, you can pop the Magical Meltdown, add the Mausoleum of White, and then send the Blue Eyes from your deck to grave and go off that way. So there's a lot of versatility in this card. It isn't really used for like synchro material later on or anything. It's not, it's definitely one of those cards where like it just ends up getting linked off into the Hermetic Seal, but it still extends you and allows you to, like I said, tag into other engines and bridge the engines together. And then last but not least is the fusion monster. So we have one Invoked Mechaba. I know most people play 2 if they're playing Invoked Blue Eyes, and I understand why, because like you're constantly getting to your Alistairs, and that just gives you a lot of recursion. But I only play 1 because I have a lot of I don't have a lot of space in the extra deck, but also really you're only making the 1 so that you can stop cards like Nibiru, and then from there you're moving forward by building your Blue Eyes board. That's really what the deck is for, is to build the Blue Eyes board, and the Invoked Mechaba is just kind of a supporting piece. Then we play the Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, which is the target negation. We play 1 Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon, which is the OTK button. It also resets your trap cards, which is really good. And then for the Albaz engine, we play 1 Albion the Branded Dragon and 1 Albion the Sanctifier Dragon to summon back the Spirit with Eyes of Blue to your opponent's board, and then summon something to your board. So this is the Blue Eyes deck that I am currently running, and I think it works rather well. I think it's pretty effective in what it does. It still can brick. I mean, it's Blue Eyes, I mean, Blue Eyes will brick. That's just kind of, inherent to the nature of the deck. But yeah, I mean, I think the deck works pretty well. I will do a combo tutorial eventually featuring the Neo Kaiser Seahorse and 1 discard, so you guys can see the board that you can build with just that card, and you can see like how strong this deck can be if played in a way that makes a lot of sense, in my opinion. Because I think the Primite version is solid, but I think it lacks like excuse me, it lacks like the ability to really push and really set up really huge boards. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, so that's like I said, Blue Eyes White Dragon. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I really appreciate the views you guys give us. Eric here with Team Eccentric, and I'm signing out.